So really, I've got a few different talking points today. Again, think of it as just educational. This, just to recap, you think about what the first slide said, digital transformation. We're all transforming. Some of us have been hanging around a long time. Has it been over 10 years? Oh, yeah. Yeah, so we were much younger back when we met. We laugh about it. But to that point, you know, just where are we at and what's changed? And my org turns 25 next year. It's crazy. I tell people I started when I was 12. They laugh at me. And so anyway, but in terms of this evolution, this transformation, and you think about just the messaging, and we'll put this out so you don't have to write it down, but you know, this transformation in business process automation has been my life for 30-something years. We get better and better and better at this trade and at doing it, and we get better and better tools. So, but again, the refresh on where we're at, we're still there. 90% of our revenue is related to ERP. That's accounting software. When I just take it back to the terminology, we're still going in and doing business process automation, but a variety of tools. Again, we said we're 25 years old. 50-something people, the secondary level of people, we've got a lot of burstable capacity. We're adding a lot of people. I bought a building in December last year. We moved. Big deal. Our transformation, mindset, culture, the people, it's all working. We're finishing the rest of the space, add some more people. So we're trying to create, you know, service excellence, the culture, and again, density and depth in the customer engagement space. I don't want to be thin. I want the density. I want people to feel that we've got deep professionals, not one, but four. Wow. And I'm still in the line. I still get escalation. So we're tier 1 cloud provider. The little line in there is, my guys, we can do a lot of licensing. Okay. We may be focused on ERP and CRM, but there's a lot of other stuff that comes in there. My data center guy said, we can do operating systems, we can do SQL, we can do just about anything. Microsoft and their mindset is they're moving to an all subscription model. So if there's a question about, hey, can you guys do this cheaper? And it goes into this, it's monthly. And you get a portal to administer your licensing. So there's a lot we can do. Tier 1 means I'm direct to Microsoft. So in the US, there's a small group. I'm in the group, thank God, because now it's harder to get in. The bottom stack, and again, traditional products. Finance and operations, that was AX. Business Central, that was NAV. Customer engagement, CRM. The Power Platform's new. We'll talk a little bit about that. But Power BI is in there. Power Apps, Flows, CDS, Common Data Service, CDM, Common Data Model. A lot there. GP, still in the mix in a big way. Office 365 and Modern Workplace. And again, on the right side, they're really just reminders of the services. Everything from that front-end strategic consulting, vision creation, solutioning, ROI. We've got ROI tools on our website. That's been a bigger deal, is how do we prove that that's good value? Sean's got great ROI metrics on doc management. You can plug his in. It's real easy. How many invoices do you do? Wow, there's a raw ROI. So I think part of it is we understand some of the stuff I'll talk about is how do we prove up the value? And there's some things, well, I'm not going to make it back, but it looks like a fun thing to do, but we won't do it. We talk about ERP and CRM. Integrations is still huge for us. How do we connect everything? Okay, analytics. How do we drive the world with data? On and on and on. GP hosting. Here's a fun one. You see the security assessments? That little hyperlink, you'll get this. You'll want to click on that because what my guys did before this, and we are doing this as a free service. We're doing assessments. Why? I can tell you stories of what happened to me this year. You know, somebody hacked us. I got an invoice for $750,000 at the end of July. 3 weeks, somebody hacked some credentials, went up and spun up some servers, hit the gas. I got a bill. I use the analogy, it's like somebody plugging an extension cord into your house and you get the $100,000 electric bill. Wow, how did that happen? So security assessments, if you click on that, it's going to give you some perspective on your organization. So we ran a sniff on everybody. We just did it. Almost everybody in here is on the dark web, except for you guys. So you should give Matt some feedback. And again, that's rare. I was on the dark web. And they're like, is this your password? You're like, okay, when's that from? So again, as you think about the ever-changing world, but this is a little free value add that we did, and only because of the personal experiences. We're trying to be proactive. So no charge to that. Go take a look at the risk report. Again, a lot of other things I could talk about there, but that's just a flash update. So, but digital transformation, again, educational. What's it mean? There's so many people out there trying to explain it. And even to my staff, I'm like, okay, guys, do you know what it means? Can you tell me what the 4 pillars are? And, you know, and the question I would ask you guys is, who in here is transforming? Are you guys going through a digital transformation? And whether the organization or us as individuals. Think about it. Are we experiencing digital transformation individually? Yes. All of us? Yes. We're recipients. Other people are pushing down to us. You know, what was the new one I heard? That Amazon, you can walk in a store and take stuff and leave, and it'll send you a bill? Wow. That's one of these, okay? So engaging customers. How do you change the way the customers feel about what you do, how they interact? How about employees? Absolutely. Talk about optimizing operations. We want to be more efficient. Sean's right in alignment. That QuickTag is digital transformation. Why? We're connecting process. We're changing the user experience. Oh, we're uploading the Amex. Boy, it's a lot easier to do my expense report. So we're impacting employees. We're impacting customers. We're optimizing operations. Transforming products. You guys are transforming products. They're going to give you a configurator. We can go out there and pick what goes on your sandal. Well, that's cool. You didn't do that 5 years ago. But so as I use this example, and whether we do it in large scale or small scale, we're all being impacted. I bought a new cell phone, right? Okay, is that part of it? Well, different experiences. So conceptually, we all need to think about this. And oh, I'm GP, I can't digitally transform. Ridiculous. Everybody can do this in some form or shape. And part of this is creatively. What's it mean? What's it mean to me? What's important to the business? Where will I get ROI? ROI is important. So me as an owner, 25 years later, earlier this year, maybe, I don't even know, I said, we're running AX now. So I ran GP forever. I'm running AX in my data center. It's big. I'm like, I'm never going to move it to the cloud. Okay, well, why not? But now my mindset is, you know what? And it's around engaging my employees. So our pain point as we grow is everybody hates doing timesheets. They hate it. I mean, they hate it, right? You guys hate it? Everybody hates it. Well, the problem and the joke at the same time is, why wouldn't I move the application to a better version of the application that creates a better employee experience and offers me a better customer experience? So now my mindset is, okay, what's it really going to cost us to move that? Because at the end of the day, I'm focused on employee satisfaction. Because the changing climate, again, customers want and demand different experiences, and so do the employees, right? As we deal with the millennial workforces, it's different. For some of us old school people, it's like, okay, why do I got to do that? All right, I don't like it, but I'm going to do it because I have to compete with hiring and recruiting and placement. And look at this building. Why are they doing this? It's cool. It's different. They're trying to transcend and transform and create the environment that's conducive to hiring. We go back to hiring, marketing. We have to market to recruit. We have to change our website so it's potential hire facing. That's a new mindset too. So the last couple weeks I've been traveling all over. I've been sitting at a lot of Microsoft events. New nomenclature, new terminology, new vocabulary, just different perspectives on what's going to happen and looking forward. And I think that's the challenge that I put to this group. And for some of you who have been in a lot of these, and we talk about who does formal planning, who's organizing, who writes down their goals for 2019. Well, this is all part of that conversation where you look at what will I do, how will I do it, and what impact can it have on my business. And I'm not going to read all this because I'll give you the slide decks, but the digital transformation journey and understanding, well, what does it mean? Where do we focus? What problem do I attack? You know, and a lot of times everybody's like, everything's just fine. I don't need to change anything. Time passes, you're like, oops, I missed something here. And I didn't think about that, and I didn't look forward. And so as you think about this chart, and it's kind of a down and up and down, and, you know, and as you look at, well, what's important? Vision. How do you create vision? Storytelling. This company did this. You're like, wow, that's really interesting. It's very innovative. And again, but visioning, and is it feasible? Can I do that? Will it work? Will I make any money doing it before I go down that road? And so there's a whole process as part of digital transformation. And it's, again, it's not just GP-centric. It's everybody can apply to it. But as you go through and imagine new capabilities and scenarios, and that's where we got to get out of our comfort zone. And I always joke that I'm in the box. I need somebody outside the box and says, well, here's what you should do. Well, my point of view may be in the box, but their point of view is completely different. So how do we learn about that? Part of it is we have a point of view. We do that. Visioning, how do you get to the point where proof of concepts, solutions, again, hey, Sean, I need to get a proof of concept on QuickTag, or better yet, do that ROI formula. Let me see what the map looks like for me. Maybe that's not for me right now, or maybe it is. So again, different examples. I like to share this. And again, at the end of the day, our alignment is focused on outcomes. What am I selling? I'm selling an outcome. I'm changing my deliverable in my organization, and as we take new projects, like we need to talk about what is your expectation to get out of this once you spend this money? What's different? If I move to the cloud with my Dynamics AX to the F&O application, what do I expect as an owner? Because I guarantee you, when they move my CRM to the cloud, it costs you $100 grand or something like that. And I'm like, okay, what did I get for that spend that's so much better. And I think everybody is entitled to that as well as you think through this. Is we want outcomes. We want a better customer experience. I want my employees to be able to do this. I want to be more efficient. I want to cut the time it takes me to process AP to 2 clicks instead of 12 clicks. Lots of different examples. So again, we'll share this one. So just to, again, what's Microsoft doing? So that's the other part of this, is me sharing my insider view. You know, their world of ERP and CRM, silos, okay, right? We consider these silos. And I'm still guilty. I was at an executive session and like, stop doing that. I'm like, okay, so I have to train myself to speak a little differently. And as you look at the evolution, and of course, 365, it's rebranding. All right, a lot of this is rebranding, and Microsoft stalled people out. We can't tell what they're doing. We're confused about the messaging, and I wonder if any of them will hear me down the hall. But that's okay. And they get it. Their left hand and right hand are trying to catch up, and let's get the messaging, and let's get it succinct. But this is the vision. This is the picture, the illustration of where things are headed. And you think, okay, well, I don't see Dynamics GP on there. It doesn't have to be on here. It's on here. It all fits. But what's different is the concept of an application platform. Okay, and so we talk about 3 clouds, right? Microsoft, there's 3 clouds. There's the Dynamics 365 cloud. There's what we call the modern workplace cloud, which is Office 365. And then the third one that they love is, of course, Azure. This, again, just some imagery that I fetched from these guys, but if you think about 365 or GP and Power Apps and Power BI, and here's a new one. Everybody know what that is? Artificial intelligence. That's scary. What's going on, and I'll share some specifics. But O365 Teams, what is Teams? Does everybody know what Teams is? You guys remember Skype? Well, Skype's still out there. Skype is becoming Teams. Well, what was before Skype? It was Link. So Link, Skype, Teams. So you need your little decoder ring to figure out, but what is this? It's collaboration. It's the ability to interact and chat and talk and video, and it's an evolving world. Now, are we bleeding edge, cutting edge, leading edge? So we all figure out when do we engage in these technologies appropriate. But again, the holistic view, and again, different rings, is how much are we consuming? Are we doing what makes sense for us? But again, that's a relatively recent vision. And this is the most evolved one that I captured from these guys. So again, as they refresh, and I use the term, it's evolution. They're refining the content, they're refining the vision, they're getting their messaging tight, and we're coming along. And we feel it in the market. We feel people, I get it. I'm understanding what it means to do digital transformation, but on the left side, modern unified. That's workplace. That's O365. That's this, it blurs, and it really does blur. And I think as you try to get vision of that, and of course in the middle is all the applications. Sales, service, marketing, well, that was CRM. Finance and operations, that was AX. Talent's in there, but again, intelligence and data. And on the right side, intelligent, adaptable. That's the AI aspect of this thing. And the Power Platform, emerging. It's there today. There's people using these tools. Customers of ours are building amazing things. I was at an event just last Friday, and I know your guys saw it, but we watched and they watched, and he looked at me and goes, did you do that? And I'm like, they did it. 2 employees in this org created some amazing things with Power Apps. And one example that I'll share is they do surgical sets going out the door. And there was arguments. Well, there was a tool missing. Well, now he's got a Power App, and this guy's just built it. It takes pictures and catalogs them, and so they have photographic evidence of everything going out the door. So guess what? There's no more arguing. It was there. See the picture? Very simple concept. This guy pulled it out of the ground, and on the other side is he had a girl that was doing Power BI. And the dashboards that she created were amazing. So much so that I want to hire a business analyst that works for me to build me cool stuff like what she did, because we're so customer-facing that I don't have all the cool stuff she did. But hers was visualization of manufacturing. And again, where am I? Oh, I'm bottlenecking. We must have somebody out today. So they could see in an instant what was happening in their organization. Small scale, large scale volume, but just really cool stuff. She built all this. And I'm like, I need somebody like her. But to that point, vision, okay, where it's going. Let's get through this. So intelligent cloud. All right. So now we're gonna start getting GP relevant here. So intelligent cloud. How do we take advantage of that? Edge devices. There's a lot of stuff that we can connect these days. You know, so even that mindset of how do I connect that? How do I connect that process? How do I connect the customer to the process? How do I connect the employee to the process? Is it a device? Hey, we're doing all the data entry here. Couldn't they do the data entry out here? And some of it may not apply to you, but just conceptually, edge, cloud, and again, they've got their positioning. Now this slide, I've got 4 of them. I went to number 4. It starts with a few things and a few more and a few more. But the importance of this one and they are all connected here, is this evolution of thought. And we don't start with all of these things, and there are lines in here that you can't see because of the resolution, but one of the things they're depicting is Office 365. And then they bought LinkedIn, and they threw talent in there. And why did they do that? People, talent. So LinkedIn is people. Talent is recruiting. If we go back to, in my executive exchange, so what's the most valuable asset in Turnkey Technologies? It's my people. And my future growth and potential and everything is all predicated on people, not machines. Processes, great, but people. So it makes a lot of sense why they bought that. But as they've connected it, it's pretty impressive, which means you guys could be GP and say, you know what, we're going to go use talent. And talent is plugged into this. And if you're trying to find people and you're trying to attract people and that's part of it. But again, these have a low cost footprint, meaning you don't have to spend tons. It's all per user per month, and they're really small price points to pick the pieces you need. And that's really what this means. You pick what you need, and maybe you add some more. But eventually, it's connected. And I think connected is the key here, okay? Siloed applications, we all know what they mean. Hey, I've got an Excel spreadsheet over here that I dump data in and I refresh it. That's not a connected process. Hanging a Power BI off there where I hit refresh, that's a connected example. So GP roadmap. Doesn't say a lot here, does it? Ongoing development, ongoing development. So they are not going to, well, I can't say that. I can say they're not going to stop supporting GP at this point in time. GP is, there's 50,000 people out there. And I had a conversation 2 weeks ago with some director level guys at Microsoft. And specifically, they're not motivating partners to sell a lot more GP. They're playing this, well, we're not going to make it as incentivized for you because they want to sell the cloud. Okay, that's their deal. Office 365, Azure, and Dynamics 365. So if you're confused about what's driving them, that's what's driving them. But the roadmap is still strong. And as we look at GP 2018 R2, it's a good product. I love it. I demo it, and we're killing it. We're selling new deals. We're still finding people that are investing in the solution. From an embracement, ongoing development, intelligent edge. We're going to talk about intelligent edge. So again, do they have a big plan out there? Like I said, is there a concern that they're going to come announce an end of life for GP? What's that mean? It's not going to stop working. Okay, all that means, and they did that for NAV. I heard that, I think March, you can't sell NAV on premise anymore. Well, what they would do to this, and they may, and so don't be surprised if they say, guess what, partners, you can't sell new GP anymore. They could do that to us, but that doesn't impact anybody in the room, okay? It may draw you to sit there and say, well, why are they doing that? Well, we just said they want to sell. They want everybody to pay per user per month. So there's a very different culture evolving at Microsoft, and they didn't come from the legacy on-prem world. So they're like, what's this GP stuff? When are they going to move? And so it's very interesting as you feel some of that, and we feel it, and I see it. But like I said, we had somebody in a deal this year that said, oh, well, they're going to end up life GP, and everybody was like, shocked. Well, again, as I share with the group, and we'll make sure we're all on the same page, is it's not stopping. The product's fully supported. I tell people as a business owner, we're 10 years. We're 10 years out. Now, do I have other organizations that are thinking, where do we go next? What's our real vision in terms of, but at the end of the day, I would tell you, don't panic. I've said that multiple times. But it wouldn't surprise me if they stopped letting us sell new deals. So a couple things on roadmap. We talked about GPUG and Summit. This is my roadmap outline, but Summit, I went in October to Phoenix. There was 7,000 GP users there. Strong event. Next November or next October, it's in Orlando. I like it. If you think about the Dynamics communities and what's evolved there is, yeah, Microsoft is a big funder there, but they have user groups now for GP, AX, NAV, the Power Apps, Power BI. So they're creating a user group for everything, which means, and they're all normally in the same place. But if you haven't been to one of those events, the learning is strong. The user group is strong. And this outline is I wrote this. And I have a point of view. That's what, we're proactive. We have a point of view for your GP. And we don't have to go through all of this, but you know, the comment on this is I still like doing roadmap sessions. I have people invite me to come down and sit with them and we brainstorm. You know, the visioning we talk about, let's talk about what do we do, what should we do, what makes sense. So anybody is welcome to reach out and ask for one of these. You'll get the outline, but I'll talk about some of these in these slides. And you think about, you know, vision, 2018 web client. This thing works great. I demo it. I'm winning with this. So again, if I'm in there and people need what GP, and GP still has a ton of functionality that I don't have in these other solutions. So even repping 3, I'm still looking at GP as a big play. We put a group up on GP this year. They run 8,000 W-2s. Why did we do that? GP is really strong in payroll, and it has a lot of capability that some of these other solutions don't and would cost a lot more. So there's a lot of neat stuff that still lives in this web client. GP 2018 R2 has come a long way. There's a lot of other features I'm not mentioning, but from a visioning standpoint, you guys all know this. You guys all run this. And there's nothing deficient about that. Again, as you look at augmenting with Power BI and some of the visualizations, there's no issues there. Workflow, quick tag, we talk about augmentation. We keep going. Power BI everywhere. Again, if you haven't latched onto that, it's a real small footprint. We have built in, we've got some out-of-the-box Power BI templates for GP. If you're curious, ask. Ask for a test drive. Sean's built some of that functionality out, but that's us walking in the door going, here, wow, and it connects. There's a lot of free stuff out there that connects to GP. What's a Power BI desktop? 10 bucks? $10 a month. Like 10 bucks a user per month? It's not a big footprint. Does everybody need one? Well, again, this is back to that user experience. So as you're thinking about GP, it's like, how many people interact with my GP data? You know, and I always joke about the CFO that screams for an aging report. Why doesn't he have a dashboard where he can just live in that world and it's real data all the time? GP works well, whether GP is here, whether it's on the cloud, whether it's, who cares where it's at? But Power BI is an experience that I even have customers, you could give a vendor a Power BI dashboard looking at his pathetic shipping performance, real time. Give him a looking glass. Let him look at his data. It's refined, it's constrained, it's secure. So again, just different ideas if you think about Power BI everywhere. And it's really that easy to do. It's Excel, except it's got a live data connection. So living in the world of live data connections, you guys are not excluded from that fun. Again, where do you take your solution? I've done this one before. There's so much stuff as you think about augmentation. I've got clients that are on a 365 roadmap, but it's 2 to 3 years away. You know, I was talking to a customer last week. He said, even if you said right now, okay, I want to do this, it would take us till probably May or June to finish up a plan. And if they started it in middle of 2019, it would take, it's 2020. That's 18 months at least. They have to deal with current situation. There are things that need to be done with today. So there's a lot of options is the point. So Word forms, emailing, you get the list. I don't need to read you guys. Power BI, Office 365, security, risk management. You know, I still love the fast path tools that drop into GP for separation of duties, for workflow, for AD integration. You know, on the right side there, I mean, I talk about document management. That is like the no-brainer for most organizations because let's get rid of paper. That's another one of these things. Now, anywhere, anytime, I can look at any document. I can do it from my phone. I can do it from a tablet. How do we want to work? How do we want to do business? We talk about CRM, customer engagement. You know, that's been an ongoing conversation as we look at why would I do that? What do I get out of that? And a lot of times, even as an owner, it's let's get control of our intellectual property, meaning our customers, our contacts, our relationships. Even if we're not doing quotes and orders and have sales reps, there's a lot of neat stuff that shows out of CRM. Different user experience. We drop in a plugin that syncs GP data, lights up. Who lives here? Who lives here? There's a lot of value there in managing even customer service. Every time a customer calls in, GP doesn't get an entry. There's no record. There's no transaction. We go back to, I have no idea. Most companies can say, well, I don't know when I talked to them last. Where do I manage my Christmas card list? How do I know who? Simple stuff. We talk about just CRM basic. So that's it. It doesn't have to be huge, but most of the concepts are land and expand. Customer portals. We shine those out through a CRM experience. Again, customers have changed the way they want to interact with you. They don't always want to pick up the phone. Again, to the cloud. Got to make the pitch. We're moving a lot of people consistently. I think we probably grew the cloud practice 40% this year. So we are continuing to add customers, and we take their GP installs, and we move them, and we upgrade them, and we light everything up, and we manage it. And it becomes real easy for them. We breathe life into it, and we put the web client in there. And again, this is one of those things where we'll never create a fiefdom here. I mean, when I say I got hundreds of users, I don't even know if it's more like 500, 700 people that live in there all the time, people all over the place, different industries. Very secure. We continue to invest in that. So again, a lot we can do there. The built-in filtering, malware, viruses, I'll tell you what, we've tightened this thing up. It is buttoned up really, really nice. So again, a lot of technical specs. I'm not going to read through those. There is a promo right now. Again, my marketing team, move to the cloud. We'll upgrade you, or we'll give you 3 months of free hosting. Again, this is move your own licensing, hybrid. So we lay in operating system licenses are all subscription. We put your license on top. So we support the hybrid mode. So it's very nice. We can do VPNs out to your offices, but I think part of it is we reduce some IT overhead. We basically, it gets really simple, and some great user experiences around that, okay? So I'm going to talk a little bit about 365. We go back to the chatter, and this is an old slide, but if you think about, that's what I said, Microsoft, that's their direction. It's, hey, this is the future. And again, 10 years from now, this is where things are. There's no question about it. It's where they're putting all the money, but you know, their evolution, 365 Modern Workplace Azure, you know, they're not going to be forced. But I think EOS is possible in 19. Okay, doesn't upset me. There's still going to be updates. There's still service packs. We're on payroll. It's like it's not going to stop working. They have SLA. We're 10 years. There's companies that can guarantee that they could keep their version for 10 years because of investments they've made. So certainly the rug's not being yanked out. Evaluate if it's a fit. Okay, there's people that want to say, hey, I want to move. Why? They want to transform. They want to transform more than they have. Or strategically, they're like, we need to be going in this direction so that we're getting to the next platform for the next 15, 20 years, okay? And that's kind of the other play there. Price points, it's all subscription. It's all per user per month. Low impact, Business Central, a little more cost if you get manufacturing. Certainly finance and operations is the big elephant in the room. Slick application. I love running my business on it. It's very different than GP. Again, it's forward thinking. It's dimensional. Of course, it was built in the European markets. So, and we're motivated to help people do this if they want to. So visioning. Intelligent cloud. This is out there on a homepage. So what is it? They've created an adapter for GP. Suck your data up to the cloud. You still have to pay a user fee. I got to pay $70 and I can get one license and connect it and it'll suck your data up. Why is it? Then it lights it up. It will light it up. And then AI can look in there and say, hey, you know what you should be doing to make more money? So that's where it starts getting played. That's why they call it the intelligent cloud. But there's an adapter and GP 2016 or GP 2018 R2. So we're prototyping this for a customer right now. We've already done it. We've synced all their data. We're letting them, and they haven't committed to a full migration. But part of this is me saying, I want to see how it works. Let's find out what we do and don't know. And we've synced it up. It lights up. So we put a little service pack on their GP. All the data moves. Interesting. Why are they doing that? Why is Microsoft doing that? Well, they want you to get one foot in there, right? Or a big toe. So, but this is available right now. And again, there's the illustration. It's the intelligent cloud. And again, what are we trying to light up? We're trying to light up more insight, right? The challenge we have with data now is, okay, I looked at it. Nothing happened. What are the actions that come from that insight? And where we start commingling AI is AI has a point of view. So before we go there, just again, my experience. This is what my office portal looks like. This is when I log in. Of course, I did this last night. It's like, good evening. But this is how my application palette looks. Outlook, OneDrive. I moved to OneDrive completely, and I'm going to run over a little bit, guys. Don't worry. So I moved to OneDrive about 2 years ago when I got a new laptop. I said, why do I keep copying all this stuff here? So I moved. Everything's in the cloud for me. So I have no footprint. It's okay. In Office 365, I can get at it. I can have my stuff on 5 devices. So I got a phone, I got a laptop, I got a computer at home, and I got a computer to base. So I have 4 devices that I use. But I can go anywhere and log in. And OneDrive, it's got everything. And even, and I didn't show you, but it knows what, and I'm working on one machine and I go to a different machine and it knows what I'm working on. All my documents are there. And even right-click, send a link to share it. I don't have to copy and move stuff around. But it's all there, terabytes of data. And there's the Dynamics 365 and Flow and all that stuff. And so again, my UI, any device, anywhere access, MFA, multi-factor authentication, okay? If you're not using that, that's the one where you get the cell phone text and you got to put in the second code. I just told somebody, US Bank just turned on MFA for me. I'm like, thank you. Makes me paranoid. Everything makes, you know, again, it's one of the world has changed. And we had somebody hacking Mike Shank. He sent me an email, he calls me Sunday morning and said, someone's hacking my account. Why? Because he got an MFA ping on his phone and he's like, I'm not logging in. And it ended up being somebody in Africa trying to hack his account. But MFA, if you don't have the cell phone, you're not going to get in. So there's a little peace of mind. Business Central, just a snapshot view. What's it look like? I have 4 companies. I have a company that I run in Business Central. So I have a couple in AX, and I got one in GP, and I got one in Business Central. So I've learned this thing myself. So it's a slick little app. I've got an app for my phone, so I can log into Business Central on my phone, and again, different experience. So again, this is me wanting to transform a little bit, and so I've set up one company. This isn't the company, but this visually. So some other vision slides. And again, this is 365 sales and analytics, and it's changed the look and the feel. And as I said, there is intelligence behind this thing now where it's analyzing your data for you. Imagine having that bot out there that gives you a report in the morning and tells you exactly what it wants you to look at. That's game changing. The effort that we put in analyzing data, and I think pre that, the effort we put in composing data just to get to the point where we analyze it. And historically, we've spent all this time composing and this much time analyzing, and then what actions do we take based on that insight? So this is that evolution that we're going through. How do we let these tools do more for us? And again, is it part, is it whole? Again, this is mobile computing, and it's doing insights, and it's doing this as talent. So again, just some different vision slides. What's it look like? Now the arrow illustrations on that top right diagram, those are process. Where am I in the process? So again, we're still business process, whether it's an AP transaction, but it could be a service process. It could be a response to a customer inquiry. Those are all processes as well that need to be managed. And we don't want to lose anything, right? We don't want to forget a transaction. We don't want to overlook a customer. We don't want to forget something. This one goes into predictive analytics. So predictive. Now this is the AI engine studying, and hey, we had a customer I met with last week, and they're on GP, and they are using Azure Machine Learning. Do you guys know what that is? Okay, machine learning, and they've got a couple applications. Credit scoring. So they're letting the AI bot evaluate people applying for credit. Good, bad, no. They've reduced their exposure by using machine learning to do credit scoring. I thought that was cool. The other thing they did is big e-commerce. They're using machine learning to suggest what products you need. And so now they got a machine up there that's figuring out, hey, you would like this. And they're nailing it, and they're growing. So I thought, very cool use of the technology. So we didn't build it for them. These are guys doing this themselves. This is the big guy. And again, why do I put this up? Investment. It's ridiculous how much money they're putting in. This is the finance and operations platform. Again, I'm not going to read through all of it, but it's a comprehensive application. It's big scale. It's a minimum 20 users, so it is a big footprint. But as you look at visioning, analytics, user experience, workspaces, very different, okay? Very different in terms of the world that we kind of come from. 100% browser-based, 100% cloud. Again, different vision. Again, whether I'm doing shipping performance, whether I'm using a mobile app, the Gantt charts, this was what I went after, okay? So in GP, we have project accounting. It's missing a word. I always joke, management. Project management was imperative to me. Gantt, resource allocation, capacity planning. How do I visualize how much capacity do I have to drive workers and get people accountable? And I often tell my staff that I implemented AX to micromanage on my behalf. There's a premise. Well, again, if we have to have people doing all this, it's not as efficient. So again, that evolution of thought, and how do we get more of this going on? Again, some different vision slides, mobile app experiences, again, just time entry, expense entry, service. Here's the blur. Okay, so this is a great slide because this is the one that really blurs. I'm in Office 365, but I'm seeing my customer data. And I can do orders, and I can do quotes. And some of the demos that my guys had, they can get an email for a customer and just flip it into an order. And so the blurring the lines now is one of the big advantages of, again, the cloud stack. They're combining it into the holistic application platform. It's not ERP, it's not CRM, it's a composition. Pick which pieces you want, they all blur together. So user experience is changing dramatically. But that's a great vision slide. I like that. Let's see, what else do I have? This is a technical slide, but the reason I'm throw this one up, and I probably won't go through all of this, but let's talk about this one for a second. The concept of what they're doing with this common data model in the cloud. It's an integration cloud. So what they've done is they're building out, and so Dynamic CRM, customer engagement now, lives in the common data model. Talent lives in there. Business Central is still external, finance and operations still external, but vision, a couple years down the road, this common data model is growing. They're putting, everything's going to be in there, which means the flow of information between them. Office is in there. So flow between Office and ERP, and it becomes very, very elegant, okay? The other thing about that is you think about how the transactions flow. It's just a different experience, if you can imagine. So I got a couple pages with resource links on here if people want to read into it. Like I said, we'll send this out. The security link is an interesting one. Go look. Go look who's on the dark web. We weren't going to name any names or say anything in here, but like I said, you should go look. And it's one of those things that, how do you avoid that? Well, policies. Are we using multi-factor? Do we require password changes? What are these other things? What versions of software? Why are old versions of Windows not as good? Well, again, threats. And again, I can't believe how many malicious people are out there hacking all the time. Like, how do you, anyway, so the big scam on us was crypto mining. So they spun up 75 servers for crypto mining and ran them full tilt for 3 weeks, and hard to believe, isn't it? I was curious, how much money did they make doing that? Because they ripped off, in the end of the day, they ripped off $185,000 in computing power that got remediated. But if you think about it, that's a lot of spend. And you've got people building these things in their houses, and again, they're the ones plugging the extension cord into your house. So any questions? I know I ran over, but a lot of ideas here. That's really my goal here, was just to share and stimulate some thinking. And so like I said, I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you, and we'll stop there. We're going to take a short break.